What's going on, everybody? Welcome to what I guess what I'm going to call the State of the Games address. I put a post up a while back about what's going on with the channel as far as the stuff that I'm putting on, the stuff that I'm taking off. I think one person saw it, or at least one person cared to read it. So this is basically just going to be some gameplay over a voice. If you want to know what's about to happen with the channel as far as what I'm going to keep on, what I'm going to take off, where some series have gone, then stay tuned. We're also going to have a serious discussion about what's going on with one of the games that I like to play, and yeah, so we'll just get right into it. Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. Days Gone is gone. I suck at it, and I think people would rather have someone that's more intuitive at playing the game than myself. I'm going to continue to play it privately because I enjoy it, and I'm going to limit on my own stupidity rather than attempting to share it with everyone else on YouTube. I think that's fair. Maybe when I get better at it, I'll bring it back to the channel, but for now, it's out. Darkness Falls version 16 for 7 Days to Die version 1.4 is shelved because of Kane working on the version 2.0 compatible version. If there's way too many versions floating around, version 16 was the quote-unquote full release for Darkness Falls for 7 Days to Die version 1.4. When 2.0 came out, obviously there are a lot of things with the storms brewing and the weather stuff that just doesn't jive with Darkness Falls, so obviously Kane's going to have to go back and completely redo some stuff. And I'm kind of waiting to see how he fixes this goat rope that is version 2.0 and 2.1. So for right now, as much as I'd like to go to that, I'm just going to wait to see what he comes up with. It's probably going to be, he always says a few months after full release, but he's gonna have it ready when he feels it's ready. So we'll probably revisit Darkness Falls for 2.0 here in the near future. One Buck Trader. So I did, quote-unquote, finish One Buck Trader, even though I didn't. And to explain that, the whole purpose behind One Buck Trader was to 100% all of the trader's quests on the procedurally generated 6-game map. I said at the beginning of every episode. The problem with that is I didn't realize what a slog that would become, because after you go through, up to Tier 6, you can't go past Tier 6, and you can't complete, quote-unquote, Tier 6. So really, all you're doing is recycling the same crap every single trader. So you have to do that 5 times. And I didn't realize what a slog that would become. We're at like level 90 something, or maybe 80 something, 90 something, and we've got good enough weapons, not even half of which are the legendary tier, and we're already dominating, just laying waste. And part of that's due to Izzy's gun mod, honestly. But I think Izzy's gun mod brings a lot to the table, and I like firearms, so I think it's a really cool mod to have. The inaccuracies with the weapons and stuff are something that's been a pet peeve of mine for a while. So, but let's get back to the original part of this topic, and that's that I feel it's run its course. It lasted 30 episodes, I think, and we got to day 40, the 4th horde, and it's just the horde base was on automatic, and I still had room to improve the base and make it even more. I could have made it just an AFK base, honestly. From that point, there were a few things I could have done to do that. So at that point, it was just going to be a matter of recycling everything, and let's do all the tier 1 quests for this guy and this guy and this. Yeah, now by my calculations, with the SimulQuest mod, it would have taken me till estimated around day 85 to completely finish everything, and by that time, it's just routine. Even with all the new POIs that are in vanilla, it was going to be a slog, and I didn't feel like dragging it out just for the sake of saying, hey, I finished it. That was the original intent, but it was just going to take too long. Rising World. I was already able to get everything unlocked, and there's really not a whole lot more content. I can make the rib boat and the tools, I think, like the mining drill and the chainsaw. That's pretty much it. those are the only things that are left in the game that I haven't built, but I've unlocked them, and I've got plenty of stuff to make them. So it's just a matter of showcasing them, which is, 5 minutes of content maybe? So that one's done for right now until they put more content in the game. I showcased it because I'm like, hey, what's going on with this game? And, okay, now we know what's going on with the game. And I'm not much of a builder, right? I don't do much building. It's not my forte. I have what Mr. Reach, if you've seen him on the 7 Days to Die YouTube, what Mr. Reach would call, a Bambi box base, which is usually what I build. I don't care. I just need a place to put my shit. So the elitism of that just absolutely kills me when people are like, oh, look at the Bambi box base. Me. Go fuck yourselves. Missed survival. Only the freeing of the dog and the destruction of the cedar boss are left, and from what I'm able to gather, because even when I was going around that area, if you watched one of the last episodes of me going into the city or the town, even around the cedar, it's the frames started going absolutely apeshit, and it was not handling it well. And from what I'm to understand, it's optimization that depends on your brand of hardware, not the capabilities of your hardware. Because I've got good hardware. My shit runs good. So that one is shelved for right now upon further release of content. And maybe if there's like a challenge somebody wants to see me do with that. I don't know what that could be. I've brainstormed a couple of ideas, but honestly, I want to hear your feedback on that. The Infected. We're doing pretty good on that one, and I want to keep going. I'm genuinely enjoying it. Honestly, when I had seen Game Edge play this a year or two back, and I wasn't that enthused with it. And then they came out with a couple of more POIs and some more stuff, and I was like, now may be the time. This seems to be kind of where we're at, and I saw some writing on the wall with some other stuff that I was doing on the channel and decided to bring it in. I'm confident in that decision. I'm enjoying playing it. I even have one for the channel and one for me personally. So it's going to continue to go. That's just, yeah, it's going to go. We're not go. It's going to stay. Don't get it twisted. We're going to continue the Infected. Okay, so now on to the future of what's going to be on the channel. We'll get the elephant in the room out of the way right out the gate on this. 7 Days to Die version 2. It's performing just north of abysmal. The only thing that did double digits of views is the horde that I did. Now, granted, I think like there have been a couple that actually have, so that is a slight exaggeration. Yeah, so I mean it's all over the place. There are some that had in the double digits of views, and there are some that just did not, and I mean barely double digits of views. The first couple of episodes did pretty good, and then it kind of pissed off from there, and now I'll be lucky if the version 2.0 videos do 20 views. And that's over the course of a week or two. Some of this has to do with the thumbnail. I've been messing with thumbnail content because I want people to go, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to click on that, right? It's natural. People use their cell phones. I'm trying to find a way to optimize those. But some of it really is the fact that people just do not like the version 2.0. And honestly, I'm getting through it, but it has lost so much of what makes 7 Days to Die what it's supposed to be. It's a shadow of its former self. It's not the same game anymore. It used to be sandbox, and that used to be in the description. That element's gone. And so now, what you end up with is this pseudo RPG, but well, I'll get into that in a second. I actually put a review. I felt so strongly about this that I put a review up. Yeah. So anyway, I'll go over the review here in a minute. But I try to get through it. It's just lost so much. And like I said, the sandbox element is history. as talked about before, I'll probably shelve version 2.0 entirely. And I had one to edit. I was editing this morning, and I was like, you know what? I just can't. I don't like what they're doing with it. And you're talking about somebody who didn't come into this game until Alpha 18. I'll give you a brief history of me and this game. So I was playing stuff on the channel, and we're talking I had maybe 50. I didn't even have 50 subscribers, I don't think. But I had a guy on, and I haven't seen him in a while, Mysterio 1066. And Mysterio, he was like, dude, you need to try 7 days. And I think I was doing mainly subsistence and a couple others, but I was getting really angry at subsistence at this point, but I was still enjoying it. And he goes, dude, you really need to try 7 days. I'm like, I've seen Game Edge play it, and I don't know, man. And he and I were talking offline, and we were getting ready to do, I think it was Outlaws of the Old West, I think. You know, that one was damn near an asset flip, and it got shut down quick. But I was setting up a server. I got him and a couple other people involved in maybe doing it, and he and I actually got on a server one night, and we were just messing around. He was showing me some things. And he was like, dude, I will buy 7 Days to Die for you to try it out on the channel. I'm like, if you feel that strongly about it, dude, go for it. He tried, but he lives in another country, and it caused some issues with the currency, and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, dude, refund it. It's fine. If you felt that strongly about it, I'll buy it. And I bought it, and it was at full price, which I think was $20 or $25 at the time. I don't remember, somewhere around in there. And I started playing it, and I started liking it, and so I started getting better at it. And because the first, you know me, when I try a game first time out, even if I've seen somebody play it, it doesn't mean that I was invested in it. And so I went into it fairly blind, not really knowing what I'm doing, not really paying attention to some of the tips and tricks and things that you can do to, get better at the game and these different aspects. So I got better at it, and I started doing it. Then I went to school for a couple of years. And obviously nothing happened with the channel. I'd put stuff up every now and then. But then when I came back after I finally graduated with my degree, and I went from 62 subscribers to well over 300 in a year. So that was fantastic. Almost 300 subscribers in a year. You know, obviously I was trying other things. I did Miss Survival, something along the same lines. But bottom line, I've been playing 7 Days to Die since about 2018. I think it was Alpha 18 when I dropped in, as a matter of fact. Just past Alpha 17. So that was my first experience with it. And it wasn't one of those slow burns. It was like, it was neat, and I was starting to get into it, but I didn't really get it. And then the more I got into it, the more I liked it. And the player agency was something that I really liked. Well, each new alpha release, the Fun Pimps have a real bad tendency of screwing with player agency, and you will play the game the way they want you to play it. It went from, build a base to, we'll just use a POI as a base, to, we'll not that POI because that's too strong and our zombies won't be able to get through it. Choose a weaker POI. Or we'll make sure the zombies are like engineers and they know exactly how to get into your base. Kind of thing, they've broken the AI, because when you walk around every second of every day, just in game, the zombies are mindless and they just come after you. That's the way it should be. But on Horde Night, all of a sudden they all get like civil engineering degrees, and they go out and try to bust your base up in the most strategic way possible. It's ridiculous. And that's all because they like the precious zombies and don't hurt our zombies. That's why the new duck mechanic is in there, because the player could do it. They took in Darkness Falls, you can actually duck and go through like a 1 block high hole. Well, the zombies couldn't do that, so they took the ability for you to do that out of the game. And now they've got the zombies to where they can do it, but you can't. So that's the type of mentality you're dealing with the Fun Pimps. I know that at some point, one of the developers had died in an accident, and then there are 2 guys left. I want to say they're related, brothers, cousins, something, and they have conflicting views on how the game should be finished, and it shows. it's a goat rope. So that's kind of my stance on it. I will read you. So this is what I put, and I put this up last night. It was like 10:30. I was up later, but it was bugging me. And so I put up, this is my exact review. You can find it on Steam, ATB Gaming. And it says, been playing only since Alpha 18, TFP, the Fun Pimps, have jumped the shark off the deep end with their latest. My observations as of version 2.1 to wit. Number 1, there is no sandbox. They've even taken the term out of the game description as of the last alpha or so. It's linear and very stereotypically console-like. Don't expect learn by doing to be the RPG-style element here. The game is voxel-based, so everything is destructible, but they steer you in directions. More on that later in this review. Number 2, they quote-unquote listen to players as long as their views on the direction of the game align. And they said this on a live stream. I heard them. They straight up said it. So they don't listen to players often, if they do at all. Number 3, they're always late on their roadmap dates. This last release of 2.0 is that's evident, because that was supposed to be out the first of the year. It took them 6 months. But it's full release, and I'll go back to the actual review. It's quote-unquote full release, but in reality it's still a disguised alpha so that they could port to consoles before the game is finished. This, and I'll break away from that for a second. This sounds like console bashing, but it's not. You have to understand, I come from a background of console gaming. I stopped doing console gaming as much because my wrists were bugging me. I've had surgeries on my wrists, and using the controllers hurt, so I went to computer because it's just more ergonomical. I've since gone back to some console gaming. I don't do it religiously, but I do have controllers for games for the PC and a Steam Deck. So I do play console games and console-style games. This is not that. This is a PC game, right? But they have made it so console-centric, they've ruined what it was. That was my point behind that. Number 4. The survival elements have been removed for the most part, as well as the learn-by-doing system, in favor of RNG deciding how you unlock the ability to craft items and workstations. Now, that's obviously with the exception of some of the schematics, but how long has it been since you've run across, anybody out there that's played since 1.0, how long has it been since you've run across a schematic for a chem station or a schematic for the workbench? They don't exist anymore. The schematic for the cement mixer and all of the workbenches, they don't exist anymore. You have to read the magazines. So now it's up to RNG, and the RNG goes more in your favor when you pump points into stuff. You see what I mean? But it's still RNG based. It's just that you have more of the RNG is more in your favor the more points you pump into stuff that has to do with that specific crafting that you're trying to do, right? So that's what I mean by that. And that's 100% correct. I could go into Notepad++ and show you some of the coding. It's in there, I promise. Number 5, there's paid DLC and the game is still incredibly buggy. This is the very definition of anti-consumer, especially as the paid models were supposed to be free in version updates per their own developer roadmap. If you looked at the developer roadmap, they had these skins that they were going to apply to the armor, and they were supposed to just be part of it. But now they've decided they're going to do DLC, and the game's not done yet. It's not done. Make no mistake, these versions are just alphas disguised as versions to push this out to consoles, because the consoles don't allow quote-unquote early access games. At least not very much, not to my knowledge. So there's that. And again, paid DLC before the game is finished, that's just scummy as shit. I don't like that. That is a terrible business practice. I've seen it happen with other games before, and the second I saw DLC on there and it was a paid DLC, I was checking out at that point. It's not as scummy as pay to win, obviously, if you could buy weapons and stuff like that, and then go on to PvP servers and dominate. That's even scummier, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that you put out paid DLC before the game is completely finished. That's garbage. That should be the last thing you do. It's just a money grab, in my opinion. I don't like it. Number 6. If you find a way to defeat their precious zombies and they don't like it, they'll patch that out really quick. They've done this several times. The kicker is the AI can only take so much programming, so they're only able to include so much programming and constantly have to open their enemy AI to older exploits in favor, or older exploits for the flavor of the day. Meaning whatever the meta is at that point, they'll hammer that out in the AI, but they'll leave it open to some older exploits. Some of the older stuff actually works. And I don't have examples of that, but I know it's a fact. It's happened. The past couple alphas, it's happened. They'll patch something out, and then you can't do that anymore. So they'll find a way to employ the AI in such a way where that's not a thing anymore. Right? So I also say they really don't like people picking on their little zombie babies. Like, have kids or get a dog or something, guys. It's just sad at this point. Number 7. If you play the game in a way that they don't much like, they have zero problems changing the entire ecosystem of said game to make you play the formerly advertised quote-unquote sandbox game the way they want you to play it. And they've continuously done this every single update. Every single update. And this is only since Alpha 18, mind you. This is my viewpoint from Alpha 18. Some cats that have been playing this since the very early alphas, or even especially since Alpha 16, people always say that Alpha 16 is the ultimate version of the game, even though it doesn't look like it. That they always say Alpha 16 is the GOAT. I see that all the time in forums. Number 8, optimization is in the toilet. It's better, but still not good for a, quote, full release. And then I go on to say, I'm sure there's more, but honestly I'm getting too agitated thinking about all the lost opportunities this game had before they served it up on a platter that was really a dirty ashtray with feces on it. Bottom line, wait until it's on a massive sale and mod the hell out of it. Luckily, the modding community is alive and well for now, so there are a plethora of overhaul mods that change all of the goofy shit they did to the game over the years to systems that make sense, while keeping the graphics and optimization you can enjoy today. And then I put a TLDR in. If you're into linear style gameplay and don't enjoy player agency and freedom, but have been looking for a zombie shooter with base defense, this might be worth a look. If you like sandbox experiences with the ability to play the game the way you want and to set limits for yourself or challenges, this isn't where it's at anymore. Either way, it's not worth the $45 price tag they stamped on it once it was, quote, full release. What a joke that is. Wait for a sale, mod the hell out of it. Then it will be the game it was originally supposed to be. I recommend Kane's Darkness Falls Overhaul mod. It brings a lot of original elements and progression back with somewhat of a goal and storyline. And that's how I did my review. So that's my review on Steam, not recommended, over 1,800 hours on record in the game. So I did not want this to be a huge bitch session, right? On 7 days, and I know that the Fun Pimps Dick Riders are going to be coming out of the woodworks to say whatever. Look, guys, you can have your positive criticisms of the game, and you can enjoy it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy it. You go ahead and enjoy it. I'm saying for those of us that enjoyed the way it was, it's going in the wrong direction. So, I'm not the only one either. If you go to Steam, and I'll probably put an overlay of this up while I'm talking about this, it's getting hammered in the reviews, especially as of 2.0. 2.0 has the least amount of concurrent players, I think, since Alpha 21. I mean, it's irrefutable. The proof is there. You can see it. Some of the same arguments that I see from either Facebook forums, Facebook pages, forums, they're like, well, just don't play it. Well, this game is not for you. This game is not for you argument is tired. It's done. That single phrase kills the gaming industry. I've watched it happen. Because if all these games aren't for the majority of audiences, guess what happens to the game, folks? It goes away. So you can't say this game's not made for you. This game was maybe not made for me, but I was really enjoying the hell out of it before they fucked it up. Okay? So, seeing the direction that it was supposed to originally go, sandbox, base defense, building, none of the stuff works the way it used to. Everything has been just watered down to the point where the survival element is just not there anymore. And it's tiring. And I'm done with it. Like I said, I even recorded last night for a couple of hours to have the 2.0, the new 2.0 episode. I think it was going to be episode 13 out today. And I was editing that when I went, you know what? No, we're not doing this. And that's when I decided to do this State of the Games address, basically, on the channel. I understand those of you that are like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You've only got, 385 as of right now subscribers. Are you really trying to kill your channel this early? No, I'm really not. But you have to understand, as somebody that's played video games for the past 40 years, this is not where it's at, folks. Do you realize that there are so few new games that are coming out that are good, that people are going back to older games? That's why stuff like Myth Survival and Rising World are doing well on my channel, because people enjoy those games. And again, those are early access games. They're still being worked on. But even games that are finished, that are older, people are playing those rather than new games, because the new games are sucking. Okay? So that was the majority of my 7 Days to Die soapbox. So we'll go on into the rest of the future of what I'm going to be doing on the channel. And so 7 Days to Die Alpha 16, maybe? I started on Alpha 18, like I said before, but the consensus is that Alpha 16 was the GOAT. So maybe a playthrough of experiencing that. The only experience I have with 16 is seeing the Neebs crew playing it and seeing Kane playing it, but I only saw Kane playing it with Darkness Falls. I have seen a new YouTuber playing it, Just Rob, and Just Rob and I have a lot of the same views on what's going on. If you haven't seen Just Rob and you like no bullshit gaming, and he's really good, he's way better than me at 7 Days. I mean, he's got this stuff on lock, and he comes at it from somewhat of an analytical standpoint, from what I've been able to tell. He's genuine dude. What you see is what you get. I don't see any fake bullshit with him. I was even on a live stream and I was like, yeah, I was doing a playthrough of this, on my channel, and did this. He's like, oh, on your channel. Okay, you're plugging your channel, man. That's cool. You can go ahead and put, go to the Discord and you can put videos up there. And I'm like, shit, I didn't even think about that, man. I wasn't trying to do that, but I appreciate it. And so you can, and in his Discord, you can plug your channel, which I haven't done. But if I wanted to, I could, and that's pretty cool. Also, Jawoodle, the last person that I would expect to have any negative press for the Fun Pimps or 7 Days to Die, he put a video up. And he got pretty brutal with it. As brutal as you can expect coming from Jawoodle. Right? So, I'm not the only one, guys. And it's a frustrating thing. It's annoying. But check out those two guys. I'm sure there's other stuff online you can find. If you go to YouTube and maybe type in version or 7 Days to Die version 2.0, what's wrong or something like that. I don't know. You'll probably find a good amount of stuff that's there. I haven't done a deep dive, but I have found a couple more than that, and I've commented on them and subscribed to a couple of more people's channel because of it. Because the community around this game needs to really stick together, and one of the ways we can do that is through positive criticism, but criticism nonetheless of the game. I will say before I move on again that the maps and the POIs are great in this game. That's one of the coolest things about 7 Days, and one of the few redeeming qualities, honestly, to the game is all the cool POIs you can go in. They're so inventive. Even though they've killed stealth entirely for the whole, you as soon as you step into a perimeter, you have this trap where they just come out regardless of how silent you are. They've killed stealth, which I think is bullshit. That's another thing I don't agree with. you know, just because, oh, they're killing our zombies, meh. And that's a thing they've said. The zombies are our children, meh. It's like they're supposed to be the antagonist, man. We're supposed to find new and inventive ways to set them on fire and kill them. That's the whole point. But they missed that point. Anyway, so moving on. Like I said, Alpha 16 maybe. I don't know. That's something I thought about doing. Just roll back to Alpha 16 and see what's going on with that. Maybe even with a few mods. I know there's got to be tons of Alpha 16 mods out there, especially with as much as people like that alpha. So maybe that's a thing. Subsistence. I think I'm about to pick that back up and see if my patience can adjust to the difficulty of the game. I'm willing to accept that it's just a skill issue and that I'm just not as good at the game. I used to be okay, but it seems like I don't know whether maybe I was spending more time with 7 days and I got used to that, and then the difficulty of subsistence was just insane to me at that point. So if I do start it, I'm going to have to start from scratch with it because they've changed so much, and I'm going to have to go basically off camera and just play it and get used to the game again before I can even bring it back to the channel. But that is something that I was thinking about doing. I was also going to try to start up a game with my son because he's gotten into it, but it would really only be a once a week thing to put that up because he's about to go back to school. He's got to focus on school. That's period number one. So I may try a solo run if I can stand the difficulty. So these are my final thoughts on the matter, on the whole thing. The vast majority of the audience on this channel was built around 7 Days to Die, Myth Survival, Rising World, and now Infected. I do enjoy other types of games, though. I enjoy racing games. I've got Forza, Need for Speed. I love playing those. But I don't know if people really want to see me in a digitized supercar, going around back roads, smashing through fences or whatever. I have a backlog of a lot of other games. I've got Doom and Doom Eternal, both of which I've never played, but I love the originals, and I've actually got those too, all of the original Dooms. And I've heard great things about the Bethesda versions, so that's something I've thought about bringing to the channel. Again, old games are making a comeback because the game scene is just shit here in 2025. I do have all of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games with the exception of Oblivion Remastered. I haven't gone back through that. I do have a couple of BioShock games. I've got Mafia games. I go through GOG, I go through Steam, and I go through Epic. And I've got a lot of games just kind of hanging around. So I've got a lot of games. Are there any other games out there you'd like to see on the channel? What have you got? Any ideas about challenges or different ways to play any of the games that I've listed previously in this video? Put them in the comments. This is, I do want to grow a community here, and I'd really like for people to participate. I mean, again, borrowing from some folks, I can't remember who it was, somebody I used to listen to back in the early days of, well, I say early days, the early days of me being on YouTube. I'm just a mook with a mic, right? I'm just a schmuck here, just a average dude that's playing games that may have a couple of cool takes now and then, but ultimately I just like having fun, and the stupid situations and bullshit that I get myself in is entertaining to some people, and a lot of people like my more relaxed style of gameplay. I'm relaxed when I play until I'm not, and I try to keep it relatively chill. Maybe not as chill as Skippy. What is it, Skippy 0330? I think that's his tag. He's really laid back and really chill. But I mean, this is just my personality. I'm chill until I'm not, and when I'm worked up, I'm worked up. And I don't try to fake like, "Ooh, yeah, we're getting into 7 days." Where? I can't do it. It's just not my personality. So I do thank everybody for tuning in. I know this was a bit long-winded. It's almost 40 minutes, and it'll obviously be cut down because when I talk a lot, I have to kind of wet the whistle a little bit and clear the from the throat. So I do appreciate those of you who stuck around. Let me know what you think. I did not want this to be a 7 Days to Die bashing session. I know it seemed like that, but honestly, the criticisms that I have are out of love for the game. Okay? So take that for what it is. Just one random dude. I'm not piling on. These are frustrations that I've shared with the channel for a little bit now. I've tried to keep it. I mean, sometimes I've actually gone on a rant in the video, and I'm like, yeah, we're taking that out. And I just take it out because I'm like, nobody wants to hear that shit. But in this venue, in this little area right here where I can just sit, talk to you, show you some gameplay footage while I'm talking, I think this is the best way to get everything out, let you know what's going on with the channel, and just let me know what you think. The new YouTube algorithm has changed, if you haven't gotten that from some of the intros and outros of my videos. So the way they're doing it now is that views will really only count if you've viewed 80% of the video, which a lot of people do not, or if you view the video and you interact. So that means putting a like in, sharing it, commenting. That's another good way. If you do one of those three and view it, viewing at 80% is optional at that point, but the more view time obviously is better for the channel. So that's the new stuff. That's what's going on with the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to be plugging that because I really want us to get up. I think if I can get the channel up to about 1,000 subscribers, it'll be, most of the uphill battles done from there. And look, monetization is only a milestone. I'm not really looking at, hey, I'm, going to make shitloads of money doing this. That's not the point. But the 1,000 subscriber milestone, it seems to be the sweet spot in the algorithm where I can grow a little bit more of a following and make the channel a little bit bigger, and we have a community. And once the community gets to a certain size, I'm probably going to have a Discord. I've really got to look into how to do that because I don't want the Discord unmoderated, and I don't want people on there doing some shady shit. So that's also going to have to be something I look into, but it's something I want to do. So let me know your thoughts, put them down in the comments, and again, thank you for viewing this thus far. I appreciate you putting up with this. The next video is probably going to be the infected. I'm going to go ahead and edit that out and have that ready by this afternoon, but I'm going to go ahead and edit this out and have it up here in the next couple of hours, and I will catch you cats in the next one.